In today's world, attention is the new currency. The battle isn't for your money anymore. It's for your mind. Every notification, every scroll, every meaningless distraction is a thief. You think you're spending time, but you're actually spending focus. And focus is wealth. The more you protect it, the richer you become. The ones who control their attention will own their future. So this audiobook is your reminder to protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Chapter 1. Stop paying attention to everything you are bleeding focus. Every second you give to something meaningless is a withdrawal from your mental bank account. Every distraction is a thief, silent, invisible, but deadly. You don't lose focus all at once. You lose it in fragments. Every ping, every scroll, every random thought that hijacks your attention. You think you're managing time, but you're not. You're managing focus, and you're doing it poorly. You check your phone 100 times a day. That's 100 leaks. Tiny moments gone, drained. You don't even feel them leaving, but they add up. Every notification is a micro-tax on your potential. Every meaningless scroll is a withdrawal from your dreams. If it doesn't pay you, don't pay attention. That's the mantra. Repeat it, live it, breathe it. If it doesn't pay you, don't pay attention. You have to start treating your attention like money, because that's exactly what it is. When you hand it away carelessly, you're going broke. You're working for free, not in dollars, but in focus. Think about it. Every platform, every creator, every brand out there is begging for your attention. They make billions because you can't stop looking. They study psychology, algorithms, and color palettes, all to keep you hooked. Why? Because your attention is valuable. They know it. You don't. You wake up, grab your phone, and start paying. You open an app, another payment. You scroll for 10 minutes, another withdrawal. By noon, your attention account is empty. You're mentally broke before you've even started your real work. You think you have a time problem. You don't. You have an attention problem. You have an energy leak that never stops dripping. And that's why you're exhausted. Not because you did too much, but because you focused on nothing. Focus is not about effort. It's about direction. It's not about working harder. It's about working with intention. When you pay attention to everything, you end up moving nowhere. Scattered energy produces scattered results. You can't plant a tree if you keep digging it up to look at the roots. You can't build a masterpiece if you keep switching canvases. You can't build wealth if you keep investing in noise. So start small. Audit your attention. Where does it go in a day? Who or what gets it for free? Write it down, be honest. Brutally honest. If your attention were money, would you be rich or bankrupt right now? You have a choice. You always have a choice. You can spend your focus on things that drain you or invest it in things that grow you. That's the key, and it starts with awareness. Every time you pick up your phone, ask, what am I paying for? Every time you say yes to a conversation that doesn't matter, ask, what is this costing me? Every time you open another tab, scroll another feed, or react to another notification, remember, you're spending your future on fragments of nothing. You don't need to cut everything out. You just need to be conscious, selective, disciplined. Your attention is not infinite. It's a finite resource. Every second spent on the meaningless takes away from the meaningful. And here's the truth. Most people never learn that lesson. They die full of distractions, empty of impact. It's time to build your focus fortune. Start protecting your attention like a billionaire guards his assets. Because billionaires don't waste what's valuable. They don't hand out their time. They don't lend their energy. They invest it. And they expect a return. So here's your rule. Every focused decision should have an ROI, a return on investment. Ask yourself, will this make me better? Will this bring me closer to my goals? Will this strengthen my mind, my business, my discipline? If the answer is no, then it's a distraction. And you can't afford distractions anymore. Let's talk reality. You can't protect your focus if your environment is designed to destroy it. That means you have to change the battlefield. Turn off notifications. Delete one app that wastes your time. Just one today. Create phone-free hours. Build focus zones in your day where nothing and no one gets in. Because if you don't guard your environment, it will guard you from progress. You have a choice. Again. You can stay reactive or you can become intentional. You can scroll through other people's lives or you can build your own. But you can't do both. Let's get real for a second. Distraction is not harmless. It's destroying your potential, one dopamine hit at a time. Every time you choose distraction, you train your brain to expect it. You weaken your ability to go deep. You lose your edge. And eventually, you forget what focus even feels like. But here's the good news. You can retrain your brain. You can rebuild focus like a muscle. Start with 5 minutes of deep work, then 10, then 30. Focus until it feels uncomfortable. Because growth always feels uncomfortable, don't chase dopamine. Chase depth. Don't chase stimulation. Chase stillness. That's where the real work happens. And remember, every time you get distracted, someone else gets paid. When you give your attention to a screen, a company profits. When you give your focus to gossip, someone else gets your energy. When you give your mind to negativity, your future gets smaller. You are the product, unless you take control. Stop being the customer of distraction and become the creator of focus. You don't need their permission. You don't need their validation. You just need to decide, my attention is mine. Once you do that, everything changes. Your energy changes. Your results change. Your peace returns. You stop chasing and start creating. You stop consuming and start producing. You stop reacting and start directing, because focus is power, and you've been giving yours away for too long. Here's your challenge. For the next 24 hours, track every distraction, every glance at your phone, every unplanned conversation, every scroll. Write it down. At the end of the day, look at the cost. You'll see where your focus is bleeding out. You'll see where your future is being spent. And once you see it, you'll never look at attention the same way again. This is where focus begins. Not with motivation, but with management. Not with hype, but with discipline. Because the world doesn't care how busy you are. It only rewards what you finish, so stop paying attention to everything. Start investing in what matters. And remember, if it doesn't pay you, don't pay attention. You've learned the first rule of the new economy. Your attention is your wealth. Now, let's talk about the truth behind it. Why attention itself has become the most valuable asset in the world. Chapter 2. Attention is the new money used to be the measure of power. Not anymore. Today, the richest people on earth aren't the ones with the biggest bank accounts. They're the ones who control attention. Attention is the new currency. Every brand, every app, every influencer, they're not selling products. They're buying focus, yours. And the truth is, they don't need your money if they already have your mind. Because once they control your attention, they control your behavior. They control what you buy, what you believe, and how you feel. That's the real economy now, the attention economy. And in that economy, you're either investing your focus or being harvested for it. Let's be brutally honest. Every time you open your phone, someone is making money. But it's not you. Every second you give to a platform, it gets richer. And you get poorer. Not poor in dollars, poor in direction. Because while they're monetizing your focus, you're losing your fire. You think you're scrolling for entertainment, but they're studying you. They're tracking what you click, how long you stare, what you ignore. They build entire systems to keep your mind hooked. That's not an accident. That's a business model. So ask yourself this. If attention is money, who are you making rich? Here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not short on time. You're not short on talent. You're short on focus. Focus is the difference between the broke and the wealthy, the distracted and the unstoppable. The rich don't have more hours in a day. They just refuse to spend them carelessly. They treat attention like gold, because it is gold. Think of focus as capital. You can spend it, save it, or invest it. But once you spend it, it's gone forever. Every message you reply to instantly, every random video you watch, every conversation that doesn't serve your purpose, it's a withdrawal. And most people are overdrafting their attention accounts daily. They go to bed mentally broke and wonder why their life isn't moving forward. You can't build wealth if your focus is bankrupt. That's the key. The key is not to get more time, but to use attention with precision. Attention creates energy. Energy creates action. Action creates results. But if your attention is scattered, your results will always be average. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how talented, or how ambitious. If you can't focus, you can't win. You can't be in 5 places at once. You can't chase 10 goals with one mind. You can't build an empire while checking your phone every 3 minutes. That's not focus. That's self-sabotage. Let's look at the world's most successful people. They understand one thing. Attention is leverage. Warren Buffett doesn't chase opportunities. He filters them. Elon Musk doesn't answer to distraction. He eliminates it. Steve Jobs didn't diversify attention. He concentrated it. That's why they built what others only dream about. Because they invested their attention in fewer things. And those few things changed everything. You don't need more opportunities. You need more discipline. You don't need to do more. You need to do less, better. That's the discipline of focus. And it's the new form of wealth. Let's make this practical. Start treating your attention like your bank balance. You check your financial statements. Do the same for your focus. Audit your day like an investor. Where did your focus go today? Did it multiply your results or drain your energy? Who got the best of your mind, your goals or your distractions? Because here's the rule. You attract what you invest attention in. If you give your attention to growth, you'll grow. If you give it to gossip, you'll shrink. If you give it to purpose, you'll rise. If you give it to nonsense, you'll drown. You can't be wealthy in life if you're bankrupt in focus. And here's something deeper. The world doesn't pay for effort. It pays for focus. You can grind 12 hours a day and still get nowhere if your attention is scattered. Effort without direction is chaos. Hard work without focus is exhaustion. You don't need to work more. You need to work aware. That's why you see people hustling all day, busy but broke, exhausted but unfulfilled. Because they're giving energy without clarity. They're mistaking motion for progress. You don't get paid for how busy you are. You get paid for how focused you are. That's the real game. So how do you start controlling your attention in a world that's built to steal it? You take your power back. One choice at a time. You decide where your attention goes before the day starts. You block time for deep work. You delete what doesn't serve your goals. You stop reacting and you start directing. You don't need to check everything. You don't need to respond to everyone. You don't need to know what's trending. You only need to know what matters to you. That's focus. That's wealth. And the more you protect that, the more life pays you back in peace, clarity, and success. Let me tell you something. The rich don't have more willpower. They have stronger filters. They filter what gets their attention. They know the price of distraction, and they refuse to pay it. Every no they say is a deposit into their focus account. Every distraction they delete is an investment into their clarity. They don't react, they respond. They don't chase noise, they chase vision, and that's what separates those who build wealth from those who consume it. Because in this new economy, attention creates assets. Your focus can build a business. Your focus can build a brand. Your focus can build freedom. But only if you stop giving it away for free. So here's your challenge. For the next week, treat your attention like money. Ask yourself before every decision, is this a good investment? If not, walk away. When you choose to give attention, give it with intent. When you choose to withdraw it, do it with pride. Because you're not ignoring the world. You're protecting your wealth. Attention is the new money. It's the seed of every result in your life. And from this moment forward, you're done spending it on distractions. You're done donating it to noise. You're done being the product. You're the investor now. You're the one who decides what pays you back. Because your attention is the foundation of everything you'll ever build. So guard it, grow it, direct it, and watch your life compound. You now understand the truth. Attention is the new money. But if attention is wealth, then distraction is debt. So how do you stop losing what you've just learned to protect? Let's dive deeper. Chapter 3. Shut the door to distraction. Focus doesn't disappear. It gets stolen. Bit by bit, click by click, notification by notification. You don't lose focus because you're weak. You lose focus because you've left the door wide open. Distraction isn't random. It's designed. It's engineered. Every beep, every buzz, every vibration is a signal. Come back. Look here, click this. And every time you obey, you teach your brain one thing. That distraction deserves attention. But here's the truth. Distraction is not harmless. It's the silent assassin of potential. It's killing your future one dopamine hit at a time. And the only way to win this war is to shut the door. Let's be real. The world will never stop distracting you. That's not going to happen. The algorithms won't suddenly become kind. The platforms won't stop hunting your mind. The noise won't disappear, so you have to do the disappearing. You have to step out of the noise. You have to build boundaries so thick that the world can't break them. Because if you don't build walls around your focus, the world will build walls around your freedom. Here's the pattern. You wake up. You check your phone before you even check in with yourself. Before you take your first breath of purpose, the world already has your attention. The news, the messages, the endless feed, they're all stealing your morning momentum. You think you're catching up. You're not. You're getting hijacked. From that moment, your mind is no longer yours. It's rented out to whoever shouts the loudest. That's why you feel exhausted before the day even begins. Not because you've done too much, but because you've allowed too much in. If you want focus, you need friction. Focus doesn't live in comfort. It lives in control. Turn off notifications. Yes, all of them. You don't need to know every alert, every message, every meme in real time. The world will survive without your instant response. Silence your phone. Close your tabs. Create sacred spaces, hours and environments where you don't let distraction in. Because focus thrives in silence but dies in noise. You don't need more motivation. You need less access. That's the key. Focus grows when you make distraction expensive. When you make it hard to reach you, you make it easier to reach your goals. Let's talk psychology. Your brain loves novelty. It's addicted to it. Every notification gives you a little chemical hit. Dopamine. It feels good. It feels urgent. It feels like connection, but it's not connection. It's conditioning. You're training your mind to crave interruptions. You're teaching yourself to be distracted. So when you finally sit down to work, you can't go deep. Your brain panics without noise. It starts searching for stimulation. And that's why you can't focus. It's not that you lack discipline. It's that your brain forgot how to be still. To rebuild focus, you have to detox from distraction. You have to starve it until your mind stops craving it. Try this. Spend 1 hour today with your phone in another room. Just one. You'll feel restless. You'll feel anxious. That's withdrawal, the sign that your brain has been overdosed on distraction. But keep going. Because what comes next is peace, then clarity, then power. The more you starve distraction, the more your focus muscle grows. And one day, silence won't feel uncomfortable anymore. It'll feel like home. You have a choice. You can live reactive, or you can live intentional. You can spend your day responding to everyone else's agenda, or you can spend it executing your own. Reactive people answer every buzz, every message, every demand. Intentional people guard their energy like a fortress. You don't need their permission to disconnect. You don't owe instant access to anyone. Your focus is yours, not theirs. So stop apologizing for being unavailable. Start apologizing to yourself for wasting attention on what doesn't matter. You don't need to reply instantly. You don't need to consume constantly. You just need to control deliberately. Look around you. Every great achievement came from long hours of uninterrupted focus. Books, inventions, masterpieces, none of them were built between notifications. That's the difference between noise and creation. The distracted consume. The focused create. You can't build if you're always reacting. You can't think if you're always scrolling. You can't lead if you're always listening to the noise. So ask yourself, when was the last time you went an hour without a screen? When was the last time you thought deeply, uninterrupted? When was the last time you owned your attention instead of renting it out? If you can't remember, that's your signal. It's time to shut the door. Here's the system. Design your environment for focus. Don't rely on willpower. Rely on structure. Clean workspace. No visual clutter. Physical order equals mental clarity. Set boundaries. Pick hours for deep work and make them sacred. No phone, no messages, no multitasking. Protect your mornings. The first hour of your day belongs to you, not the world. No social media, no notifications. Batch your distractions. Check messages at set times only. Never let them bleed into focus hours. You're not weak, you're unguarded. You don't need more control. You need fewer doors, because focus is a fortress. And every open tab is a crack in the wall. You have to decide what kind of life you want. One ruled by noise or one built by clarity. One lived by reaction or one led by intention. Every time you shut the door on distraction, you open the door to freedom. Every time you say no to noise, you say yes to progress. And every time you guard your attention, you grow your power. The world will never stop asking for your focus. You must be the one who says, not for sale. Because distraction is the tax the unfocused pay, and you can't afford to keep paying. So from this moment forward, make it your mission. Silence the noise. Build the boundary. Shut the door, because the future belongs to those who can go deep, not those who stay busy. And every second you protect your attention, you're buying back your potential. You've learned how to shut the door to distraction, how to protect your mind from noise. But there's another truth. Even with more time, you'll still fail if you can't control where your focus goes. Because time doesn't create success, focus does. Let's go deeper. Chapter 4. Time doesn't matter. Focus does. Time is not the problem. You have enough hours. You just don't have enough focus. People say they need more time. They're wrong. They don't need more time. They need fewer leaks. Because focus, not time, is the real currency of achievement. You can have 10 hours and waste them. You can have 1 hour and change your life. It's not about how long you work. It's about how deep you work. Time only matters if you're focused. Without focus, time is empty. Without direction, time is dust. Look at the world's top performers: athletes, entrepreneurs, creators, innovators. They don't have more hours than you. They have more attention control. They extract more value from every minute. While most people scatter their focus like loose change, they invest theirs like gold. They don't measure time in hours. They measure it in outcomes. They measure it in what got done. That's the mindset you need. Don't count hours. Count focus. Let's get brutally honest. You waste more time being busy than being effective. You multitask, you context switch, you chase dopamine disguised as productivity. You call it work, but it's distraction in disguise. Answering messages every 5 minutes is not focus. Checking analytics every hour is not focus. Jumping between tasks like a pinball is not focus. You're not out of time. You're out of attention span. And that's what's costing you your results. Here's the truth. Every time you switch tasks, you lose momentum. Your brain takes minutes to recover every time it shifts context. That's the hidden cost of distraction, attention residue. So even when you think you're back on track, half your mind is still somewhere else. And you wonder why you can't go deep. You have a choice. You can be scattered for 10 hours or focused for 1. You can fill your calendar or you can fill your results. You can be busy or you can be brilliant. That's the key. It's not about time management. It's about attention management. The world sells you productivity hacks, fancy planners, and time tracking apps. None of it matters if your attention is fragmented. Because focus multiplies time. Every focused hour is worth 10 distracted ones. So stop worshiping the clock. Start mastering your concentration. Time is not your enemy. Distraction is. And focus is how you fight back. Here's a simple truth. You don't need more hours in a day. You need more value per hour. Think of your focus like a magnifying glass. When the light is scattered, it burns nothing. But when you concentrate it, it can cut through steel. That's how the human mind works. Scattered attention produces noise. Focused attention produces results. You can waste your whole life reacting, or you can change your life with 1 hour of deep work a day. That's all it takes. 1 hour, fully present, fully intentional. 1 hour where you give your best energy to your most important work. You do that for a year, and you'll be unrecognizable. Here's the problem. Most people treat focus like a feeling. They wait for it. They say, I'll work when I feel ready. That's the trap. Focus isn't a mood. It's a muscle. And muscles grow through repetition and resistance. You don't wait for focus. You train it. You show up when it's hard. You stay when you're restless. You push through boredom. Because that's how strength is built. And once you train focus, time bends for you. You start accomplishing in an hour what others can't in a day. That's the secret high performers know. They don't manage hours. They master attention. Here's a reality check. If you're always running out of time, it's because you're not running your focus. Track your day. How much of your time goes to real, deep, undistracted work? Be honest. If you can't give yourself 1 hour of undivided attention, you don't have a time problem. You have a discipline problem. And discipline is what turns time into progress. So stop saying, I don't have time. Start saying, I don't have focus. That's the truth that changes everything. Now let's talk about how to fix it. Protect your prime time. Identify the hours when your energy is highest, usually morning. Guard them fiercely. That's your focus zone. One task at a time? Multitasking is a myth. You can do two things at once, but not well. Choose one task and give it your all. Use a timer. Set 60-minute deep work blocks. No phone, no notifications, just pure focus. When the timer ends, rest, then repeat. Respect your energy. Don't waste your best mental fuel on trivial tasks. Handle small things later. Protect your peak energy for what matters most. This is how you multiply time. This is how you take control. You have to see focus as wealth, not effort. The more you concentrate your energy, the more valuable your minutes become. And the less you scatter it, the richer you get in results. Every day, you're either investing your focus or wasting it. Every hour is either a deposit or a drain. Every choice is either progress or postponement. So ask yourself, what am I buying with my attention? What is this moment worth? Because focus creates value. Distraction destroys it. And in the end, your life becomes the sum of what you focus on. You can't control time, but you can control focus. You can't make the clock stop, but you can make every second count. And that's what separates the distracted from the disciplined. The first are slaves to time. The second are masters of it. Time doesn't create success. Focus does, because focus turns hours into impact and minutes into momentum. So stop managing your schedule. Start managing your attention. You'll realize you've always had enough time. You just weren't present in it. From this moment on, repeat this mantra. I don't count hours. I count focus. Say it until it becomes your instinct. Because when you live by that truth, time stops being an obstacle and becomes your ally. You're not running out of time. You're running out of focus. So refocus, reclaim, rebuild. Because your success won't be measured by how long you worked, but by how deeply you did. You've learned the truth. Focus multiplies time. But what stands in the way of focus most isn't time. It's clutter. Mental clutter, digital clutter, emotional clutter. Let's clean it up and clear the path. Chapter 5. Eliminate mental clutter. Your mind is not a storage room. It's a control center. And right now, most people's control centers are jammed with junk. You can't focus because your mind is overcrowded. You can't think clearly because your thoughts are tangled. You can't move forward because your brain is buried under noise. You're carrying too many tabs open, mentally, emotionally, digitally. And every open tab drains your energy. Every unresolved task, every "I'll do it later," every unfinished conversation, they all steal your focus. That's mental clutter. And it's the silent killer of clarity. Think of your brain like a desk. When it's covered in papers, Post-its, and junk, you can't find what you need. You waste energy just sorting through the mess. But when the desk is clear, your ideas flow. Your execution sharpens. Your confidence rises. That's how your mind should feel. Clean, organized, calm, powerful. Because clutter isn't just a visual mess. It's an energy leak. It drains your attention. It scatters your thoughts. And when your mental space is crowded, your focus is weak. Here's the truth. You don't need more motivation. You need mental bandwidth. You don't need another how-to. You need mental space because cluttered minds crave distraction. They feed on chaos. They seek escape instead of execution. That's why you keep checking your phone. That's why you can't finish what you start. That's why you feel busy but empty, because your brain is working overtime just managing noise. You have a choice. You can keep feeding the clutter, or you can clear it out. You can stay buried under chaos, or you can create mental order. But here's the rule. You cannot focus if you're full. You cannot create if you're crowded. You cannot grow if your mind is constantly managing junk. You have to clean house. Let's break it down. There are 3 kinds of clutter that block your focus. Digital clutter, notifications, messages, tabs, endless scrolling. You live in a digital landfill. Every alert screams for your attention. You don't own your devices own you. Solution: delete, mute, organize. Turn off non-essential notifications. Unsubscribe from noise. Curate your inputs. Remember, your phone is a tool, not your boss. Emotional clutter, old grudges, unfinished conflicts, guilt, regret, overthinking. You replay the past like a broken record, and it drains your present. Emotional clutter keeps your focus stuck in loops. Solution: forgive, release, move forward. You can't create new results while carrying old weight. Stop renting space in your head to people who don't pay rent. Cognitive clutter. Too many goals. Too many to-dos. Too many decisions. You're trying to do everything and doing nothing deeply. Solution: simplify ruthlessly. Pick 3 priorities that matter. Eliminate the rest. Remember, clarity isn't about knowing more. It's about needing less. That's the formula. Less clutter, more clarity, more clarity, more focus, more focus, more power. That's how you start winning again, because focus thrives in simplicity. It dies in noise. Every time you declutter your mind, you reclaim your attention. Every time you simplify your thoughts, you strengthen your execution. And every time you eliminate what's unnecessary, you amplify what's important. Here's a powerful exercise. Grab a piece of paper. Write down everything that's taking up mental space, every task, every worry, every "I should." Now look at it. Half of it doesn't matter. Some of it's not even yours to carry. Cross out what doesn't belong. Delegate what you can. Schedule what's real. And let go of the rest. That's not just a list. That's a liberation. Because your brain was never designed to hold it all. It was designed to process, not to store. So stop using your mind as a hard drive. Use it as a command center. Write things down. Organize them. Free your focus for what actually matters. Let's talk about mental minimalism. This isn't about having less. It's about carrying less in your head. The most productive people aren't the busiest. They're the clearest. They know exactly what matters. They protect it with everything they've got. That's the mindset shift you need. Clarity over clutter. Focus over frenzy. When your mind is clear, you make better decisions. When your mind is clear, you respond instead of react. When your mind is clear, you stop chasing and start creating. Repeat this. I don't chase clarity, I create it. Say it again. Because it's true. You don't find peace by waiting for the world to calm down. You find it by cleaning up your own mind. You take responsibility for your focus. You take ownership of your attention. That's the key. Focus isn't found, it's built. And mental clarity is the foundation. Here's your challenge for today. Digital detox. Turn off your phone for 1 hour. Just one. Notice how your brain feels. That's clarity. Mind dump. Every morning, write down what's on your mind. Get it out. Don't think, just empty. Declutter your environment. Clean your workspace. A clear desk equals a clear mind. Simplify your goals. Focus on one big goal. Eliminate side missions until that's done. Do this every day for a week, and watch your mental power double. Because when the mind is quiet, focus becomes effortless. You have to understand, the world profits from your clutter. Social media, news, notifications. They all compete for your bandwidth. They want you overwhelmed. They need you distracted, but you don't owe them your attention. You don't owe them your peace. If it doesn't serve you, delete it. If it doesn't pay you, mute it. If it doesn't move you forward, cut it out. That's not selfish. That's self-respect. So from now on, live by this rule. My focus is my filter. Nothing gets in unless it serves my growth. Nothing stays unless it builds my future. Clean your mental space. Simplify your world. Protect your peace, because focus doesn't come from doing more. It comes from thinking less. From decluttering your mind until all that's left is what matters most. That's when your thoughts turn sharp. That's when your energy returns. That's when you become unstoppable. You can't hold on to everything and expect clarity. You can't live in chaos and expect focus. You can't fill your mind with noise and expect peace. So choose peace. Choose clarity. Choose focus. Because a cluttered mind can't create a powerful life, and a clear mind can't be stopped. Now that you've cleared the clutter, your mind is ready to focus deeply. But there's one more battle. The world keeps demanding your attention. It's time to learn how to say no without guilt and protect your energy like your fortune. Chapter 6, The Power of Saying. No, you lose more focus by saying yes than by being distracted. Every yes you give to the wrong thing is a no to your real purpose. Every unnecessary commitment drains the currency of your attention. Let's get brutally honest. You don't need to do more. You need to stop doing what doesn't matter. The most powerful people in the world don't have special talents. They have boundaries. They know what to say no to. And they're unapologetic about it Because saying no is not rejection, it's protection. Here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something small, you're saying no to something big. You say yes to another pointless meeting, and no to your focus time. You say yes to someone else's urgency, and no to your own progress. You say yes to comfort, and no to growth. And the more you say yes out of guilt, the more you betray your purpose. Every yes carries a cost. Every no protects your power. You have to understand this. Your attention is your wealth, and the only way to stay rich in focus is to stop giving it away for free. You've been conditioned to please everyone, to be agreeable, to avoid conflict. But that's how you lose control of your life, one yes at a time. You don't need to be available to everyone. You don't need to answer every message. You don't need to explain every no. You are not rude for protecting your priorities. You are not selfish for valuing your time. You are not cold for choosing peace over chaos. That's maturity. That's mastery. That's focus. Let's call it what it is. People-pleasing is attention poverty. You give away your time to buy temporary approval. But approval doesn't build your future. Discipline does. You don't need their validation. You need your vision. You don't need to explain your boundaries. You need to enforce them. Because when you stop saying yes to everything, you finally start saying yes to yourself. Here's the mindset shift. Your no is your most valuable productivity tool. When you say no, you are protecting your calendar. You are defending your mental energy. You are preserving your creative space. That's what high performers understand. They treat their time like a vault. They don't open it for every knock. They say no to almost everything, so they can go all in on what truly matters. You want to know why you feel drained? It's not because you're doing too much. It's because you're doing too much of what doesn't align. You spend hours on low-value tasks, shallow conversations, meaningless obligations, and then wonder why your goals feel distant. It's not about effort. It's about direction. It's not about speed. It's about alignment. You can run fast, but if you're running the wrong way, you're not progressing. That's why no is sacred. It keeps you aligned with your mission. You have a choice. You can please everyone or you can fulfill your purpose, but you can't do both. The world rewards those who protect their focus, not those who waste it on noise. You have to train your reflex to say no, calmly, confidently, and clearly. Say it like this. No, I'm focused on something important right now. No, that doesn't align with my priorities. No, I don't have the capacity for that right now. You don't need to defend it. You don't need to justify it. You don't owe anyone an explanation for valuing your focus. The word no is a filter. It separates what's urgent from what's important. It separates noise from purpose. It separates distraction from destiny. And here's the paradox. The more you say no, the more valuable your yes becomes. When you finally do say yes, it means something. It's intentional. It's powerful. It's aligned. That's how you build credibility, not by being available, but by being consistent. Let's talk about your environment, because every person in your life is either a focus amplifier or a focus thief. There are people who pull you higher and people who pull you sideways, people who add clarity and people who add chaos. You need to recognize the difference. Protect your focus from energy leeches. Distance yourself from drama feeders. Surround yourself with people who value your time, not those who drain it. You can love people and still limit access to your attention. Boundaries are not barriers. They're filters for peace. Repeat this to yourself. I don't chase approval. I protect my attention because every yes should be an investment, not a withdrawal. Every yes should move you closer to your goals, not distract you from them. Ask yourself before saying yes. Does this build me? Does this align with my mission? Does this protect my peace? If not, the answer is no. No hesitation, no guilt, no apology. That's self-leadership. Let's go deeper. You think no closes doors, but it actually opens the right ones. When you say no to distractions, you say yes to depth. When you say no to noise, you say yes to growth. When you say no to chaos, you say yes to clarity. Your future is built by the things you reject, not the things you accept. Saying no is how you curate your destiny. So here's your challenge. Audit your commitments. Look at your week. What doesn't serve your growth? Cut it. Practice saying no daily. Even small no's build the muscle. Protect your prime hours. Don't book them for meetings. Book them for your mission. Silence guilt. You don't owe the world your constant yes. Do this for 1 week and feel the difference. Your energy will rise. Your clarity will sharpen. And suddenly you'll feel rich. Not in time, but in focus. The truth is simple. Discipline is saying no when it's easier to say yes. Focus is saying no when the world begs for your attention. Freedom is saying no to everything that doesn't align with who you're becoming. You are not here to please. You are here to build. And every no is a brick in the foundation of your purpose, so protect your time. Guard your focus, and let your no become your superpower. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who can do it all. They're the ones who refuse to do what doesn't matter. And that's how you stay powerful, clear, and unshakable. You've learned to protect your focus by saying no. Now it's time to protect it through control, mastering your emotions, your reactions, your energy. Because you can't stay focused if you're always reacting. Chapter 7. Control your emotional energy. Focus isn't just about attention. It's about energy. And nothing drains your energy faster than uncontrolled emotion. You can't stay focused if you're always reacting. You can't build discipline if every mood decides your direction. You can't create results when your emotions are running the show. That's why emotional control isn't weakness. It's power. It's not suppression. It's strategy. Because when you control your emotions, you control your focus. And when you control your focus, you control your future. Here's the truth. The modern world is built to trigger you. Every headline, every post, every comment, it's designed to hijack your attention. Anger, outrage, comparison, envy, fear. The more emotional you are, the more distracted you become. And the more distracted you become, the more you lose control of your life. That's the game. You're not losing time. You're losing focus through emotion. So if you want to win in the attention economy, you have to master your emotional economy. You've heard the phrase, energy flows where attention goes. But the opposite is also true. Attention drains where emotion grows. Every time you react, you spend energy. Every time you get offended, you pay a focus tax. Every time you let someone's words control your state, you give away your power. You have to decide, do you want to be emotionally reactive or strategically focused? Because you can't be both, let's get real. Most people aren't tired because of what they do. They're tired because of what they feel. They wake up anxious. They go to bed angry. They scroll and absorb drama that doesn't belong to them. They let external noise dictate internal peace, and they wonder why they have no focus left for their goals. It's not the work that exhausts them. It's the emotions they refuse to master. You have a choice. You can react like everyone else or respond like a leader. Leaders don't let emotions hijack their mission. They don't give their energy to gossip, negativity, or outrage. They stay grounded, calm under pressure, focused under fire. That's emotional discipline, the rarest form of strength. Listen carefully. Emotion is energy. And like energy, it needs direction. Uncontrolled emotion is chaos. Controlled emotion is power. When you learn to channel emotion, to use anger as fuel, to turn fear into focus, to transform frustration into discipline, you become unstoppable. You don't suppress emotion. You transmute it. That's mastery. Here's what emotional control looks like in real life. You stop reacting to noise. Someone criticizes you online? Ignore it. Someone doubts your dream? Smile and keep building. Your response is your real power. You stop making emotional decisions. Don't act out of anger. Don't commit out of guilt. Don't quit out of fear. Emotion fades. Regret doesn't. You stay calm under chaos. When the world panics, you breathe. When people rush, you think. When others lose control, you tighten yours. That's focus. That's leadership. That's emotional wealth. Think of it this way. Your emotions are the weather. Your focus is the climate. You can't stop the storms, but you can control the environment you build in. You can't stop what happens, but you can choose your internal response. That's your real power, and that's what separates the reactive from the resilient. Let's talk about triggers. Triggers are traps, emotional shortcuts that steal your awareness. The key is not to eliminate them. It's to observe them. When you feel anger rising, pause. When you feel anxiety creeping in, breathe. When you feel the urge to react, step back. You don't have to respond to everything. Not every emotion deserves expression. Not every thought deserves attention. That's the discipline of focus. Repeat this. I respond. I don't react. That's the mantra of mental warriors. Because reaction is reflex. Response is control. Every moment you stay calm, you conserve energy. Every time you pause, you gain clarity. And every time you detach, you protect your focus. Because calm is a superpower in a world that's addicted to chaos. Now let's address something important. Emotional clutter. It's the accumulation of unprocessed feelings, resentment, fear, doubt, guilt. You carry it like invisible weight, and that weight slows you down. You can't focus on building the future while dragging the past. You can't create in peace while replaying old pain, so release it. Journal it. Talk it out. Pray it away. But don't let it stay, because every unresolved emotion steals space in your mental vault. And you can't store vision where you've stored pain. Here's a truth few accept. Mastering emotion doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop letting feelings control your focus. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay to feel frustration. It's okay to feel doubt. Just don't let those emotions make your decisions. Feel it, then filter it. That's how professionals think. Here's your challenge. Emotion audit. Every night ask yourself, what drained me today? What fueled me? Adjust tomorrow accordingly. Pause practice. Before reacting, count to 3. That tiny gap creates mastery. Input control. Stop exposing yourself to emotional junk food, toxic news, drama, negativity. Protect your mental diet. Energy reset. Use movement, breathing, or silence to reset emotional energy. Don't bottle it. Release it. Do this for 1 week, and you'll notice your focus expand. You'll stop getting pulled into drama that doesn't matter. You'll start moving with clarity and calm power. Here's the real test. When chaos hits, can you stay centered? When others lose control, can you stay steady? When the world demands your reaction, can you stay focused on your mission? That's what separates winners from wanderers. The world follows the calmest person in the room. Be that person, because in a noisy world, calm is rare, and rare always becomes valuable. So from this point forward, guard your emotional energy like your fortune. Don't spend it on gossip, drama, or things you can't control. Invest it in peace, progress, and purpose, because you can't build a focused life with a chaotic heart. And you can't win the mental game if you're always emotionally broke. Stay calm, stay grounded, stay focused. That's how you keep your energy rich. You've learned how to control your emotions and protect your inner energy. Now it's time to take that control and apply it to your environment. Because focus isn't just internal. It's also about what surrounds you. Chapter 8. Design your environment for focus. Your environment is not neutral. It's either feeding your focus or killing it. Most people underestimate how powerful their surroundings are. They think willpower alone can overcome chaos. But focus doesn't live in chaos. It thrives in structure. If your environment is cluttered, noisy, and full of distraction, your focus will reflect that. If your environment is clean, calm, and designed for deep work, your mind will follow. Your focus is a mirror of your environment. You can't expect laser clarity while sitting in the middle of digital noise. You can't expect mental strength in a space that constantly reminds you of unfinished business. You can't expect deep work in an environment built for convenience instead of creation. You have to engineer your space for what you want to feel. You have to build an environment that aligns with your goals, not your habits, because your environment can either multiply your discipline or destroy it. Think of it like this. If you walk into a gym, your brain prepares for effort. If you walk into a library, your brain prepares for focus. If you walk into chaos, your brain prepares for distraction. Your environment trains your mind before your mind even begins to think. That's why high performers obsess over their setup. They don't rely on motivation. They build systems that make focus automatic. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your environment. Let's get specific. There are 3 environments you need to master: Physical environment, digital environment, social environment. Each one either builds or breaks your focus. Let's start with the one right in front of you. Physical environment. Look around your workspace. Does it inspire focus or trigger distraction? Clutter on your desk equals clutter in your mind. Messy surroundings equal messy thinking. You can't think clearly surrounded by visual noise. The fix is simple. Keep only what you need in your workspace. Use clean lines, neutral colors, and open space. Add one thing that symbolizes your mission. A quote, a vision board, a symbol of purpose. That's not aesthetic. That's psychological design, because your environment tells your brain what matters. When everything screams for attention, nothing gets done. When everything is intentional, focus becomes automatic. Digital environment, your digital space is your second home, and most people's is a disaster. Too many apps, too many tabs, too many notifications. You say you want focus, but your phone is a casino of distraction. Every ping is a pickpocket stealing your attention. Every scroll is a tax on your concentration. Here's what to do. Turn off non-essential notifications, all of them. Use Do Not Disturb mode during deep work hours. Clean your desktop, one folder, one system, no chaos. Limit your tabs, one task, one window. Schedule your social media time. Don't let it schedule you. You don't need digital freedom. You need digital discipline. Remember this rule. If your phone controls your attention, you're not living, you're reacting. Your devices are tools. They should serve you, not seduce you. Social environment, the people around you are invisible forces shaping your focus. You can't stay disciplined in a distracted circle. If your friends normalize procrastination, you'll start calling it balance. If your coworkers normalize distraction, you'll start calling it multitasking. If your circle talks about people instead of ideas, your mind will shrink to fit the conversation. Energy is contagious. So is mediocrity. You need to be ruthless about proximity. Not everyone deserves access to your focus. Surround yourself with people who value growth, silence, progress. People who don't drain you with gossip or negativity. People who make focus feel normal, not weird. That's how you protect your attention capital. Here's a key truth. You can't out-discipline a distracting environment. Willpower is temporary. Design is permanent. That's why you must design your surroundings to make the right choice the easy choice. If you want to focus, remove friction. If you want to build, remove temptation. If you want to grow, remove noise. Your environment should pull you toward your goals, not push you away from them. Here's a powerful question. If a stranger walked into your space, could they tell what your priorities are? Could they see your mission by how your environment is arranged? Or would they see distraction disguised as comfort? Because your environment reveals your standards. If you want to think like a CEO, stop working in a space that feels like a waiting room. If you want to create like an artist, stop living in a cluttered gallery. If you want to focus like a master, design like a minimalist. Here's your challenge for today. Declutter your workspace. Remove everything that doesn't serve your mission. Rearrange your digital tools. Make it impossible to get distracted accidentally. Redefine your social circle. Spend 1 week avoiding gossip and negativity. Just one. Notice the clarity. Build a focus ritual. Light a candle. Play instrumental music. Shut the door. Tell your brain it's time to work. This isn't about control. It's about command. You're creating conditions that make focus effortless. Here's a truth the world won't tell you. Your environment either disciplines you or destroys you. You don't need to force focus if your surroundings invite it. You don't need to chase motivation if your space demands progress. A strong environment eliminates decision fatigue. It removes the need for constant willpower, and when you no longer waste energy resisting distraction, you can finally use that energy to create. From now on, think of your environment as your invisible teammate. Let it support your habits. Let it remind you of your mission. Make it impossible not to focus. That's how you turn discipline into default, because focus shouldn't feel like a fight. It should feel like your natural state. And your environment is what makes that possible. So take control of your space. Shape it with intention. Design it to demand your best. Because when your environment aligns with your purpose, you stop forcing focus and start living it. You've built the environment for focus. Now it's time to fuel it. Not with caffeine or hype, but with habits that last. Focus is not an event, it's a rhythm. Let's learn how to build that rhythm for life. Chapter 9. Build focus habits that stick. Focus isn't a mood. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows with repetition, not motivation. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your habits. That's why most people never master focus. They treat it like inspiration, not instruction. You don't need more hype. You need habits that make focus automatic. Because the truth is simple. You don't decide your future. You decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. Let's be real. You can't will yourself into focus every day. You can't rely on random bursts of motivation. You need structure. You need systems. Discipline is built, not found. Habits are the blueprint of that discipline. If you master your habits, you master your attention. So how do you build focus habits that actually stick? Not the kind you do for 3 days and abandon. The kind that become your default. The kind that anchor you when the world is noisy. There are 3 laws of focus habits. Ignore them and you'll fall back into chaos. Follow them and you'll never lose your rhythm again. Law 1. Make it easy to start. The biggest killer of focus is friction. The more effort it takes to begin, the less likely you'll follow through. So you must eliminate resistance. If you want to read, keep the book on your desk, not buried in a drawer. If you want to work, keep your workspace ready before you sleep. If you want to create, open the document before you touch your phone. Make the first step invisible. Automatic, effortless. Don't wait to feel ready. Make it impossible not to begin. You've heard this before. Just start. But the deeper truth is this. Make starting so easy. You don't have to choose. Choice kills consistency. Systems protect it. Here's a key principle. Design triggers, not reminders. Reminders rely on willpower. Triggers automate behavior. Example, a candle on your desk means it's focus time. Music without lyrics signals deep work mode. A clean desk means your brain can breathe. Each trigger says, we're working now. You're programming your mind through cues. And over time, those cues become anchors. You don't fight for focus anymore. You shift into it. Law 2. Stack habits. Don't build them from scratch. You don't need to rebuild your life overnight. You just need to attach new focus habits to the routines you already have. This is called habit stacking. If you check your phone in the morning, attach a 2-minute focus ritual right before it. If you drink coffee, pair it with journaling your top 3 priorities. If you end your workday, add a 60-second review of what you learned. That's how small things become big transformations, because the mind loves patterns. Once something is linked to an existing habit, it becomes automatic. And that's the secret. You don't need to fight for focus when it's built into your rhythm. You've been told success requires massive change. But the truth is, success is microscopic consistency. One routine at a time, one trigger at a time, one small win repeated daily. That's how you turn effort into identity. Don't aim to be focused. Aim to be the kind of person who protects focus. It's identity, not intensity, that sustains you. Law 3, track progress. Not perfection. Perfection kills momentum. Tracking builds it. Most people quit because they can't see progress. So they assume nothing's working, when in fact, the change is invisible. That's why you must track your habits. Not to judge yourself, but to reinforce progress. Write it down. Mark it off. Use a wall calendar, a journal, a digital tracker. Anything that lets you see your consistency. Because the brain loves evidence. When you see proof, you feel progress. When you feel progress, you build pride. And pride builds momentum. That's how you sustain discipline, through visible progress. But here's the key. Never miss twice. Missing once is normal. Missing twice is a pattern. If you break your chain, start again immediately. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means you return faster every time you fall. That's what separates the focused from the distracted. Recovery speed. Let's get practical. Here's your focus habit formula, a system you can use today. Choose one keystone habit, something that reinforces other habits. Example, morning journaling, daily planning, or nighttime reflection. Attach a trigger. Example, after I drink my coffee, I open my planner. Make it easy. Example, keep the planner and pen next to your mug. Track it visibly. Example, use a habit tracker or sticky notes on your wall. Reward progress. Not with dopamine, but with reflection. Ask, what changed because I stayed consistent today? This 5-step rhythm will rewire your brain for focus, because the more consistent you are, the less effort focus requires. Focus stops being a challenge. It becomes your character. You need to understand this. Habits are how you automate your standards. Without habits, every day feels like a battle. With habits, every day becomes predictable progress. Habits remove the decision fatigue that drains your mind. You no longer think, should I? You simply do. That's the power of focus habits that stick. If you want to become unshakable, don't chase motivation. Build systems. Build identity. Build the rhythm that keeps you grounded. Because focus isn't what you find when life is easy. Focus is what you protect when life is loud, and the way you protect it is with habits that outlast emotion. Remember this mantra. If it doesn't pay you, don't pay attention. Every habit you build should earn you clarity, energy, or progress. If it costs you focus, it's not worth the price. You're not building habits just to be productive. You're building habits to protect the currency of your life, your attention. So today, make the decision. Pick one small habit. Make it automatic. Track it daily. Protect it fiercely. Because what you repeat becomes who you are, and who you are determines what you can focus on. That's the blueprint. That's how you build focus that lasts for life. You've built the habits. Now it's time to maintain them in the face of chaos. Because the world will always try to pull your attention away. Let's talk about how to protect your rhythm when life gets loud. Chapter 10. Guard your focus like a fortress. You've built your focus. You've designed your environment. You've trained your habits. Now comes the hardest part, defending it. Because in a world built to steal your attention, staying focused isn't an achievement. It's a daily war. Every day something wants to distract you. A notification, a headline, a message that says urgent when it isn't. Every day something is testing your fortress. Your job? To guard the gate. Here's the truth. Distraction will never stop trying to enter your mind. But you can stop opening the door. You don't control the noise. You control the access. That's what focus really is, selective permission. It's the ability to say, no, that doesn't deserve my attention. Every no strengthens your wall. Every yes weakens it. If your mind is a fortress, then your focus is the gatekeeper. And your gatekeeper must be ruthless. We live in the attention economy. Everyone is selling something, and they want your focus as payment. They don't care about your growth. They don't care about your peace. They care about your time on their app, your click, your reaction. That's why the rich get richer. Not because of money, but because of mastery over attention. They guard it like treasure. They invest it where it multiplies. They never waste it on noise. Focus is the new currency, and the disciplined are the new wealthy. So how do you guard your focus in a distracted world? You build systems of defense. There are 3 layers to your focus fortress. The outer wall, protect your access. The inner circle, control your energy. The core, chamber, master your mind. Let's build them, one by one. 1. The outer wall, protect your access. This is your first line of defense. It's the boundary between you and the world's noise. Every alert, every DM, every quick question, they're all cracks in your wall. You have to patch them. You have to control access. That means turn off non-essential notifications. Limit your availability windows. Use autoresponders during deep work. Unfollow chaos. Mute noise. Block temptation. Your attention is sacred ground, not public property. People who guard their focus don't disappear. They just stop being available to things that don't matter. Every boundary you set is a message to the world. My focus is valuable. 2. The inner circle. Control your energy. The second layer of your fortress is your energy. Because even with perfect systems, you can't focus if your energy is empty. Focus requires fuel, mental, emotional, and physical. If you're exhausted, distracted, or emotionally drained, you'll lose your discipline before you lose your time. That's why protecting your focus also means protecting your energy. Ask yourself daily, who drains me? What drains me? What recharges me? Then build your schedule around energy, not just time. Protect your mornings. That's when your mind is sharpest. Take breaks before you burn out, not after. Sleep like it's your secret weapon, and because it is. Energy is the armor of focus. Without it, your fortress collapses from within. The core chamber. Master your mind. This is the deepest level of focus, the one most people never reach. Because even if your environment is clean and your systems are perfect, your mind can still betray you. The real war isn't on your phone or your desk, it's in your head. The war between urgency and patience, reaction and reflection, noise and silence. You must learn to sit in stillness. You must train your mind to ignore the impulse to check, scroll, or respond. That's mental discipline. That's mastery. When you can sit in silence and still feel powerful, you've built a fortress no distraction can enter. Here's the truth. The most focused people in the world are not superhuman. They're just protected. They've learned that freedom doesn't come from doing everything. Freedom comes from doing only what matters. They've built walls, not to shut out the world, but to shut out weakness. They've built routines that protect their clarity. They've built standards that filter their time. And that's the difference between chaos and command. You don't need to isolate yourself to stay focused. You just need to curate your world. Filter what you consume. Decide who you let in. Guard the silence between tasks. Focus thrives in space, not in clutter. Here's a practical challenge. Today, write down your Focus Fortress rules. 3 to 5 boundaries that will define how you protect your attention. For example, no phone for the first hour of the morning. No multitasking during deep work. No notifications after 9 p.m. No conversations that drain your purpose. No reaction without reflection. Read those rules every morning. That's your defense manual. Because once you've built your fortress, maintenance is your responsibility. Here's a warning. Distraction never attacks head-on. It sneaks in through small cracks. A quick check. A harmless scroll. A just 5 minutes. That's how your fortress falls. Not with explosions, but with erosion. So be vigilant. Guard your gates daily. Because focus isn't lost in one moment. It's leaked in 1,000 tiny decisions. And here's your mantra. If it costs me my peace, it's too expensive. That's the new currency test. If it drains you, it's not worth it. If it confuses you, it's not worth it. If it distracts you from your mission, it's not worth it. You owe your attention to your future, not to your impulses. Guard your focus like a billionaire guards his wealth. Guard it like an athlete guards his recovery. Guard it like a lion guards its territory. Because once you lose it, everything else follows. Focus isn't a skill, it's survival. From this day forward, your focus is your fortress. Your boundaries are your walls. Your discipline is your defense. Every time you protect your attention, you build power. Every time you say no, you buy back your life. And every moment of clarity you create, that's freedom earned. Cutting transition. You've built your fortress. You've reclaimed your attention. Now it's time to step back and see the whole picture. Because focus isn't just a strategy. It's a philosophy for how to live. Let's bring it all together. Final chapter. The currency of focus. You've made it here. To the end of this journey, and that means one thing. You stayed focused. You didn't just listen. You trained. You didn't just consume. You committed. In a world addicted to noise, you chose clarity. In a world obsessed with speed, you chose direction. In a world that spends attention recklessly, you learned how to invest it. That's the difference. That's the shift. That's how you become unstoppable. Let's remind ourselves what this journey has really been about. It's not about productivity. It's not about hacks. It's about ownership. Ownership of your attention. Ownership of your time. Ownership of your life. Because focus isn't just what you do. It's who you are when you stop being distracted. You've built the muscle. You've built the discipline. Now it's time to live by the code. The law of attention. Every moment of your life is an investment. You pay with your focus, and whatever you focus on grows. Focus on chaos, you'll get more chaos. Focus on creation, you'll get more growth. Focus on fear, you'll feed it. Focus on mastery, you'll become it. That's the law of attention, the foundation of everything, because attention is energy. And where your energy flows, your future grows. So the question is no longer, can I focus? The question is, What's worthy of my focus? You've learned how to build focus like a fortress. You've learned how to guard it like a billionaire guards his time. You've learned how to live intentionally in a distracted age. Now, it's time to make focus your default state. Not a moment, not a goal, but your new identity. Here's the ultimate truth. The richest people in the world don't have more hours. They have fewer leaks. They don't chase everything. They guard what matters. They say no to 99 things so they can say yes to one. They protect their attention like their life depends on it, because it does. Attention is life. When you give it away carelessly, you give away your future. But when you protect it, everything compounds. Your growth, your peace, your freedom. Focus is freedom. Distraction is debt. Choose wisely. Let's recap what you've built. You stopped paying attention to everything. You learned to say no to noise. You trained your mind like a muscle. You designed your environment to support discipline. You built habits that lock in your rhythm. You guarded your focus like a fortress, and now you understand. Focus isn't rare because it's hard. It's rare because it's valuable. You are now among the few who know its worth. Your daily commandments of focus. Repeat these daily. Live by them. Make them the pillars of your mindset. If it doesn't pay you, don't pay attention. Focus on one thing until it's done. Silence is strength. Protect your energy like it's gold. Guard your attention from the unworthy. Routine creates freedom. Environment shapes behavior. Every no is a deposit into your future. Focus is not found, it's built. Your attention is your greatest asset. Spend it wisely. Print these. Memorize them. Let them become the voice inside your mind when the world gets loud. Because here's what's next. Your focus will be tested. People will still demand your time. Apps will still compete for your energy. Noise will still try to creep in through the cracks. But now you'll see it for what it is. A trap. And you'll smile. Because you've trained for this. You know that every distraction has a price. And you've decided that peace, purpose, and clarity are worth more. When others scroll, you'll build. When others react, you'll reflect. When others drift, you'll drive. Because you're no longer reacting to life. You're directing it. That's what focus gives you. Control, power, freedom, and that's what this entire audiobook was preparing you. For the final challenge from this moment on, live like your attention is currency. Track where it goes, audit what drains it, and invest it only in what multiplies it. Every time you choose focus over distraction, you gain wealth. Every time you choose depth over dopamine, you gain power. Every time you choose discipline over noise, you gain freedom. That's how the new rich live. Not rich in money, rich in clarity. Rich in purpose. Rich in time. The richest people in the attention economy are those who refuse to sell their focus cheap. Be one of them. You now hold the most valuable currency in the modern world, attention control. Protect it, refine it, multiply it, and when people ask how you became so calm, so sharp, so powerful, tell them, I stopped paying attention to everything. Final closing call to action. If this audiobook challenged you, if it reminded you of what focus really means, if it made you take back control of your time, your habits, your mind, then stay with us. Subscribe to Business Book Zone, the home of full audiobooks that sharpen your mind, strengthen your discipline, and rebuild your mindset for wealth, focus, and freedom. Every week, we bring you a new audiobook, powerful, concise, life-changing. Each one written to make you think sharper, live smarter, and grow stronger. So don't just listen, commit. Tap subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and join thousands of focused minds mastering the art of discipline and wealth. Because attention is the new currency. And on this channel, we teach you how to invest it. End in a slow, firm, grounded tone. Last line, pause for 3 seconds of silence before outro music fades in. Focus is the new currency. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does.